Okay, let's be real for a second. Have you ever been scrolling, seen a friend's amazing news, and felt, well, something that wasn't exactly pure joy? It happens to all of us. We live in this world of constant highlight reels, and it's so easy to get sucked into measuring our own lives against them. That whole feeling, well, that's what we're diving into today. It's called the comparison trap, and we're going to figure out how to find a much, much better way forward.
Yeah, let's just jump right into the heart of it. Think about this. You're scrolling your feed, right? And you see it. A friend gets a promotion, a colleague buys a new house, someone you knew from way back when is on this perfect-looking vacation, and for just a split second, their good news kind of feels like bad news for you. If you've ever felt that, I'm here to tell you, you are so not alone.
You know that feeling? It actually has a name. We call it the comparison trap. And honestly, just being able to put a name to it, that's a huge first step. Seriously, because it takes this weird, murky feeling and turns it into something concrete. Something we can actually look at, understand, and, start to change.
So, okay, how does this trap even work? What's going on under the hood? Let's kind of break down the anatomy of this envy. We're going to look at it as a really common modern mistake, a way of thinking that once you see it for what it is, you can stop it from running the show.
So what's the mistake at its core? It's actually pretty simple. It's when we live our lives through this filter of envy and comparison. It's when our own sense of worth, our self-esteem, gets all tangled up in how we think we stack up against everyone else.
In this trap, it really has two main moves. First, there's the constant measuring, right? It's like you're using someone else's yardstick for your own life. And then, second, there's that feeling of resentment, that little sting you get when someone else succeeds. It's just this draining cycle that robs us of our own joy. But, and this is the important part, there is good news.
Because there is a virtuous counterpoint to all of this. A path that's way more powerful, way more constructive, and honestly just a lot more joyful for navigating our lives and the successes of people around us.
I want you to really let this sink in. Being stuck in the comparison trap, it is not a life sentence. It's a habit. That's all. It's a mental habit, and just like any other habit, it can absolutely be changed. There is another way to live. And this right here, this is that other way. The virtuous counterpoint. Now, this isn't about sticking your head in the sand and pretending you don't see other people's success. No way. It's about actively cultivating contentment and self-respect. And I love that word cultivating because it's not passive. It means you're intentionally working on it, you're tending to it, just like a garden.
So look at this. This slide lays it out perfectly, the two paths side by side. On one side, you've got the trap, always measuring yourself, feeling resentful, just feeling drained. But on the other side, that's the path to freedom, focusing on your growth and learning how to be genuinely happy for other people's wins. And here's the most important part. We get to choose. We can literally choose which column we want to live in. We can make that conscious shift.
Okay, so let's start with that inward focus. How do we actually do this? How do we cultivate self-respect? Well, it all starts with making a fundamental shift in where we put our attention. And it really boils down to two simple, actionable steps. Step one, you have to deliberately shift your focus away from other people's highlight reels and onto the real story of your own growth. Ask yourself, am I learning? Am I trying new things? Am I even a little bit further along than I was last year? And then step two, take a second to actually appreciate your progress, no matter how small you think it is. You've got to acknowledge your own effort, your own wins.
What's cool is that once you start doing that internal work, it just naturally changes how you show up in the world. And that leads us to the outward practice. What happens when we stop seeing someone else's success as a threat to our own?
And this is the goal, right here, developing a generosity of spirit. What does that mean? It's the practice, the ability to see someone else win and feel a genuine spark of happiness for them. It's so powerful because it replaces that lonely, isolating feeling of jealousy with this amazing, connective feeling of shared joy.
It all comes down to this simple idea: celebrate others without bitterness. I mean, just imagine that for a second. Imagine a life where you could hear good news from someone else and your automatic gut reaction was just pure, authentic celebration. Man, that freedom from bitterness, that is the real win.
So let's wrap this up. What's the takeaway path here? It's a three-step process. First, just recognize when you're falling into the comparison trap. Just call it out, name it. Second, consciously pull your focus back to your own journey. And third, you have to practice. The next time you feel that little pang of envy, just try to find one tiny reason to be happy for that person. I promise you, it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. When you're constantly measuring your own progress against somebody else's, you're essentially trying to run their race, but on your track. It just doesn't work. So you have to ask yourself, whose race are you really running? Is it yours or is it theirs?